Welcome to the OTA podcast where we discuss everything performance training. I'm Coach Chris Barnard. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back to the OTA podcast. I'm your host, Coach Chris Barnard. And for today's video, what I figured I'd touch on is one of the meetings that we recently had. So we had our post-summer coaches meeting here at our facility in St. Petersburg, Florida. And one of the opportunities or times that we utilize post-summer after we get, essentially busy season, if you will, or rush season, and we get into the fall when school starts, a lot of these athletes' season starts, is we use this slow time to reflect on how we can improve our services, right? How do we hold the standard of our coaching, of our business, of our coaching business as a whole? And one of the key emphasis that I usually do is I start from a top down, right? So I want to start from the most broad general things that we can improve upon. And then as we go along through the fall, we get more granular. So what I figured I'd do is I figured I'd share with you guys some of the lessons that we discussed in that coaching meeting. And to kick things off, obviously we went through a period of reflection on how the summer went, how we can improve. And then from there, what I wanted to touch on was, from my experience, things that I've gone through, what I find to be the two deadliest sins of a performance coach, right? So let's get into those. So first and foremost, the number one is going to be complacency, right? This thing happens, especially the longer that you coach, especially during the summer grind. You're in the trenches, you're coaching multiple hours a day, you have to bring the energy every single session, right? It's extremely tough in our business because even though we are interacting with athletes on a daily basis, it can become a very monotonous business, meaning you have to bring that energy every day. You can have the same session back to back times. A lot of things can happen. You build rapport with your athletes. You get comfortable with them. They start to learn the movements. It's very easy to be a passive versus a active coach, meaning you can establish what the program is, what the movements they are, but they already know how to do a bench press. So you might not give that same attention to detail. So what I always demand and what I always check our coaches on, and this is something that we reiterate once a quarter, is complacency kills, right? So what are things that we can do to try to avoid that so we can avoid that first deadly sin within our coaching and give that sense of urgency, that sense of attention to detail? So I do a very simple practice before every single session. Number one, I have the mindset of I don't have to, I get to, right? Whatever we do in life, right? I always use the saying, chop wood, carry water. Whether it's cutting grass, laying tile floors, or coaching, there's certain things that, for me, in my view or opinion in life, you're gonna have to do every day that are gonna be tedious, that are gonna be the same thing over and over again, and we just gotta do it at a high level. I cut grass when I was young, right? I worked for my brother-in-law, my sister's company, landscaping. I laid tile floors with my dad in summers, and you had to wake up. He woke up every single day for 38 years and laid ceramic tile. So for me, when I get into now this coaching business, I treat it with the same blue-collar mentality, right? So that's first and foremost of how I treat every single session, every single day. Whether I feel like it or not, I got to do it at a high level. But one thing I do to anchor myself real time in that particular session is I simply take out the program that I'm going to be performing for that day. I do a real quick rehearsal, even if I know exactly, even if this is my closest athletes that I've been working with for 5-6 years. I rehearse that entire program. It's almost like a visualization tactic where I go through every single movement, every single drill, and I almost rehearse in my head how that session's going to go. For some odd reason, this practice alone allows me to raise my standard internally. And I just try to remind myself or affirm myself, right? If I want to be great, I got to give this great session. And what you notice as a coach is the more attention to detail, the more quality sessions that you could stack over the week, over the month, the better results the athletes are going to get. So it's so essential for us to not get complacent, right? Because there's so many external things, there's so many variables that can allow us to get comfortable in what we're doing. But just like I say with like a heart surgeon, they might perform 1,000 heart surgeries. You don't want them to get complacent on the one that they have to do with you. You have to treat the exact same thing. You have to treat it with the exact same attention to detail every single training session. Trust me, you're going to have your days. Things are going to eat away at you. Things are going to take away from you. Things are going to be, curveballs are going to be thrown your way. Our goal, just like training the body, is to stack quality sessions on top of each other so that we can ensure that the athletes are going to get better results. So that's deadly sin number one. That's how I counteract it. What's up, coaches? Real quickly, let me go ahead and introduce you to Performance Coach U certification. Now, this is the certification / course that I put together for coaches who want to train athletes and not only get results, but also maximize profits in the private sector. The problem that I saw with a lot of these courses and certifications out there for coaches was that they provided a lot of information and not a lot of application. So I wanted to pull back the covers over 10 plus years of experience and show you the ins and outs of actually being in the trenches so that you get maximum results while also scaling your business. So if you're interested in this, go ahead and check out the link down below and you can get more information. Deadly sin number two is a real simple one, and it's really just distractions or focus. Us in the coaching business, when we're delivering our service, we tend to bring a lot of our external things into that session, and we need to kill that off or avoid that at all costs. So whether it be your girlfriend, getting in a fight with your girlfriend, whatever thing, this bill needs to be paid. I got in a fight with my best friend. I got a bachelor party this weekend. Whatever the hell the external stuff is, you have to be able to try to be as present as you possibly can inside that. To me, there's a couple simple things that I do. Number one is I leave my phone and I intently set it away from, I don't keep it in my pocket, unless obviously you guys know I'm on social media, so sometimes we film, but that's very calculated. Other than that, I leave my phone not in arm's distance, I keep it away from me. And just that simple act of leaving it away from me or even in another room allows me to kind of anchor myself or ground myself to be as present as I possibly can in that session. I always say this, like if we want to be treated like professionals, how would you feel if you're going to a dentist and that dentist, while they're cleaning your teeth, in the middle of it, even though they might be doing a good job, pulls out their phone and checks it? Immediately, you're thinking to yourself, hell, I get upset when my barber takes calls and checks his text messages in the middle of cutting my hair. So for me, I try to hold my a standard of professionalism, and that means avoiding distractions at all costs. When I'm with my athletes, I'm there with my athletes. So whatever it is that you need to do to be more intentful, more focused, and avoid distractions, that's the goal here. So for me, it's as simple as putting my phone away, getting that, anchoring myself down to that particular session. And then honestly, I'll say this, if you're not fully present as a coach in that session, and that isn't the most present, alive, enlightened, in flow state that you feel, then you got to ask yourself if you really want to be a performance coach. Because for me, when I'm in that, I'm in complete full flow state. It's the most present I am in my time of day. I'm trying to deliver the most professional, highest standard, attention to detail service that I can deliver at that. So to reiterate, there's two deadly sins I talk over. There's two different things that I say to counteract it. Me personally, you got to find your way. But number one, don't get complacent, especially in the summer grind when things are going, things are rolling. Try to stack quality sessions. Find a way to be able to avoid that complacency, whether it be a paradigm shift or a simple tactic that you could do before every single session. Number two is going to be avoid all distractions. You're going to have external things going on. Your goal for that hour is to be as present as you possibly can, there with those athletes, and be readily available. Those two things, you eliminate those two things or avoid them at all costs or as much as you possibly can, and you will continue to elevate yourself as a performance coach. I hope that helps. Real quick one for you guys today, but hopefully it was useful and tactical for you to use, and I'll holler at you guys next time.